I think really the main message should be that there has never been a better and more exciting time really for women to take on board roles. Whereas in the past, I think it's fair to say that women have pretty much been systematically ignored for board work. At the moment, it's on the global agenda, and there are so many things that women can do themselves to get themselves onto boards, and it's a really good time, exciting time.
Specifically, Hong Kong can learn from the initiatives undertaken in your part of the world.
Well, I'm Norwegian, so I come from the land of quotas, as you know. The quotas in Norway, when they were first introduced, I must say, were extremely unpopular. Even though this was a political decision and it came from the government, it was not very well received in the business community. It created, how can I say it, a lot of hostility and negativity around it. And it also shifted, I think, the focus from a business case to a women's rights issue, which I think is very wrong. To have a board position is quite a serious business. It's not even a human right, so it should certainly not be a woman's right issue. So the quotas created hostility. Having said that, it worked. Whereas everything else has failed, the quotas worked. Norway at the moment have 42% women on our corporate boards, so it was a successful tool, if you like. Whether it was popular or unpopular, it did work. I normally say the Norwegian acid test is, if we took away the legislation today, would we go back to 6% women, which is what we had on our boards before the legislation? And I think the answer to that is no, a very strong no. I don't think chairman would allow it. I don't think investors would want it. I think we would retain a very high percentage of women on our board. So from that perspective, it has worked. In Norway at the moment, it's business as usual. Nobody really talks about the quota legislation. And beware, the legislation in Norway is fierce. The government can delist from the stock exchange or close a company down. Now, of course, that never happened, but the legislation has a lot of power behind it. In the UK, where I also do a lot of work for the Professional Boards Forum, Lord Davis has set a target, which is a completely different thing, because that's not with legislation behind it. If it works, you have a strong argument against quotas. If voluntary targets fail, perhaps then, what else have you got but quotas? Of course, that's an interesting lesson for Hong Kong and indeed for the rest of the world, because it will be the strongest argument that you can find against quotas.
In the beginning, were you for quotas or against quotas?
Oh, I was against. Yeah, I think everyone were against. I thought it was just really sad that in this day and age, in 2002, it should be necessary. You know, why should we have it? And of course, as almost all women were saying, you know, we don't want to be on quotas because we want to succeed under our own steam and on our own merit. The more I got involved with this and the more I started thinking, I could see some of the rationale behind the quota, because nothing else had worked. If we were going to go for organic growth in Norway, it would have taken 100 years to reach 40%. No, that would have been too late for me and too late for my daughter and possibly, you know, for my granddaughter. And there were some concerns. I think women today in Norway who've gone onto boards are not concerned that they are there on a quota. I think the feedback from women and chairmen indeed is that the women contribute, they do a good job, and certainly the women come back and say they enjoy it. You know, they enjoy the board work. It's a fantastic opportunity to work for a whole company, not just the division that you may be in charge of in your day job. So you have a different perspective, and you can use the full range and the full scale of your qualifications and thinking and background. As I think was said at the breakfast this morning, that, you know, it's a different type of job. Important thing for a woman to succeed in obtaining a board role, I think, is to network, to get to know chairmen. Chairmen are very influential. I think they probably are very influential also here in Hong Kong. And if you are not on their radar, it's very difficult for them to appoint you.